This is what we're making. We're making a walk-in wardrobe. We've got rounded ceilings, well, covings, but they're flush covings. I'm just going to show you what we're going to make inside. So it's double doors, walk-in, magnetic hinges, an airing cupboard section in the middle. And then range one side, we've got one hanging rail. Coming down slowly, there's a lower hanging rail, a set of shelves, like so, and on the opposite side, just one tall hanging rail, and shelves the same. There we go. And there's room enough there for one to walk right into. First thing to do is do yourself a drawing. Measure up your opening size. Just do a bit of a sketch. Don't have to be anything accurate. At least for your size of your doors, a bit of a plan and a bit of an inside design. And it does want thinking about, because once you get going, you don't want to change it. So the next step is to screw some 2B1s on the wall. You can put a full piece all the way up if you want, just so that when the end member goes on, it clears the skirting board and the ceiling cove. There's one side, and the other side. On the other side there, I've already screwed the wall upright there to demonstrate how it clears the skirting and clears the coving. There we go. Then next, put your plate on the floor and screw it off. 11 of course for the door size and the frame as well. There we go. There we go, look at that, super duper. So not too long. Right, next I've put in timbers to carry the boarding, and I'll put it in to suit the size of boarding. There we go. Oh, and I've also calculated the door size, or double door size. Bit of wax on the screws always makes them go a little bit easier. One. There we go. I think that's wall is right, so makes it a lot stiffer. And the screws go in slightly at an angle. I'm drilling these holes because I want, when I put the screws in, I want it to pull up. And if you use self-pulling screws with it, pre-drilled holes, they don't necessarily pull up. There we go, that's all the stud work in. they've all been put in to suit the sheets, the size of the sheets that I'm going to use to cloak it with. I may well put a couple more pieces of timber right down on the floor there to carry the skirting board, and one sheet of material doesn't go all the way to the ceiling, so I should probably lift it up and then put the joiny piece on the bottom, hidden by the skirting board. So I'm using these plasterboard screws, 1 inch. There we go, we fixed the bottom panel on the inside, both sides, and that's, we could have fixed the full panel all the way up of course, but we need the light inside for doing the shelving and stuff. There we are, that's that end done as well. Now to do the short ones on the side and the long ones across the partition. Okay, so that's it, I'll fix the little battens on the wall, look. Now it's time to fix the battens on the front. And you see why we kept that off the wall there in a minute, because it means to say that when we screw this batten it'll pick up on there. So our screws are going to go through there, there and the very end. Stop it flopping about. You probably want to cut your shelf all square bit. The more adventurous persons might want to cut a nice shaped shelf. I know I've been a bit late, I should have shown you me first setting out, but it doesn't matter. Let's just show you how I do it basically. To get a nice straight edge, always use straight edge. So I've marked out the set on the saw, and crank it on. Notice when you're cutting MDF, always wear a mask. By the time you get your mask and your goggles on, the mask very often stinks up the goggles. It's not so easy with DIY. There we go, diddle it. That's going to give me a straight cut, and then I shall finish that last bit off there with a jigsaw. Okay. There we go. Just like a bought one. Okay, let's try this. I'll carefully measure it all, so perfect. Going out thinking there's a little bit more of luck than judgment there, but this studio. Okay, well, there. Let's put the top shelf on. All cut the shape and ready to go. we're going to screw that because we haven't got supports around the front of this. We're relying on it not taking a natural bend over time. So by fixing it in the back batten, that will give it support. A little bit of a countersink because the screws I'm using are only twice the size of this, because we're going at an angle. So sinking them in a little bit gives them just that little bit of the countersink and the hole all in one. And I've got one of them. I don't know where it is. Right, screws next. I'm not sure that it takes any longer. Nail guns are alright, but I don't believe they give you a quality job. They give you a quick job. We need to do a quick lesson in scribing for if you don't know how to do it, to get something to fit neatly against the wall. No wall is dead plumb. What you need is a set of compasses like so. They want to be fairly stiff ones that you have to pull apart, not move too easily. Let's go to the board there, that's what we're trying to scribe to. We come up. Okay, it's a bit torus. So, that's it. And then, all the way up the wall. All the way up the wall, keep the compass, keeping it level, and level like this, all the way up. And around there, still keeping it level. There we go. Now we cut to that line, and that should slide across that way and fit perfect. For little bits, just use the plane, a little block plane, nice and sharp it needs to be though. So, let's just plane the edge of our boards up to square them all down to the battens. There we go, doors are ready. The outside is totally clad now, as is the inside. Next is our airing cupboard section. It's just going to be an ordinary freestanding, well, it's going to be fixed to the wall, but basically it'll be its own little unit with slatted shelves. So first things first, one side, and bearers, we're going to screw them on, spread out like so, and make another one opposite, and then join them together with flat shelves. So, let's refer to our drawing. So just thinking, to remind us how far apart our shelves are going to go, and our first one's going to be 800 up. So we come up 800, and the only one we'll use a square. And if ever you do square, and you're really keen to get it square, you do it from one side, turn it over, and do it from the other side. And 90% of the time you will find the lines don't match up. And go in between the two. Otherwise you simply just measure up from the bottom in the hope that that is still square. It's a manufactured edge, it'll be as square as everything like it. So there we go, and then the rest I'm just going to divide up. Once again, not. Now it's worth knocking all the edges off before it goes together. Lovely. Nothing more than that. And square them across. with the marks. So you do that, and then screw through there, and we do that. There we go, super duper. It looks good. We'll do the same again for that one. That's the easiest way I think of spacing them out, is to just one that way and then another one the other way. So what we're going to do is we're going to screw this one on this end and that one on that end, and the ones in between we can just pin those, but this would make it so that the units all held together. Okay, so that's the next trick. There we go. One there, one on the front. A tip is to put a cramp on to stop it splitting. I'm going to keep it in just a fraction from the outside edge in case I've got to run a little bit off. There we go, perfect. That's that one. Right, there we go. Like that, one like that. Like that, and that's what comes there. There you go. Now the next thing is to lift that one up on there. And so on. There we are. Stands all on its own. So here I'll fix the other battens in. I'll probably pin them, whatever's quickest. Let's put it into the unit now and see what it looks like. So I've made the lining and fixed the lining for them that's not chippies. There's the joint, and that's purely, you make a joint like that so that you can measure the exact width of two doors between them, and when it's assembled you know it's accurate. And I've used the, as I said before, manufactured edge to give us a nice straight one side, straight and plumb one side, and then the head's been fixed level and square. Okay, we're going to use this kind of hinge. There's no cutting in with this sort of hinge, it just goes straight on, but we're going to use 4 of them to that'll help to keep the door stiff and arrest any twisting or bowing that could happen. So I've marked where the hinge is going to go. This is the top of the door, come down 6 inches, and then the hinge, see the shape of the hinge. I'm putting the larger flag on the door. The reason for that is that it means that the screws are in timber and not on the edge where they could split into the MDF. I've already pre-braddled this, even though they are self-putting screws. Put a little bit less torque on that. So there we go. So now is to make sure that this is going to clear the carpet. I always reckon an 18mm piece of board line, you can see I've already marked it, and I'll plane that off to that, but I might actually plane it just a little bit clear, but also open it up and do exactly the same thing. There, we'll clear that only because generally speaking most floors slope to the middle, so when the door opens it's clear, but if you get one where it's higher, the door will bind as it opens. Okay, so that's got to come off now, cut that back, and then that one can be fixed and finished. Screws real handy. Try it. Oh, that looks good. And that looks good. They look like they're going to match. Now what we're going to do now is shoot these two off so they don't bind. There, doors on. So next thing is architrave. There we go, that's the outside finished. Skirting board on, picture rail round, all done from the outside. We'll make the plinth now. I'm being a bit lazy, aren't I? And then screw on there, like so. Let's not bore you with too much drilling and screwing. We start really tight and nice. There we go. And then that, after the carpet's done, we go in there like so, and we just put a screw through there and there, and that's the business. I'm going to cut that back. Door stop. Cut a bit of door stop off the length to make sure it's going to fit. Prepare it by putting your nails in. I'm using 1.5" ovals. Shut the door, flush it to where you want it to be, and I use a little wedge. Don't matter how you do it, you might decide you want to just pin a little bit of timber there or something like that. Then door stop up, bring it up against the door. Now you've got a need for paint and bits and pieces and a bit of touch, so that's what I like to do. Just use a bit of cardboard, screw box, that's a bit of folded scratch, that is. There we go. There we go, and then I'll do the same down that side and the same with this side door. There we go, there's our finished cupboard.